So we're really excited. This is our 51st year of America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk. This year we will again feature the 18-mile course, which was the distance that started it all. We will also have a 10-mile course, which was by popular demand, as well as the traditional 3-mile run and walk course that starts and ends at Utica University. One of the most exciting features of this year's walk, as it has been in the past, is Heartbreak Hill. The residents are extremely excited to be welcoming back all of these walkers who are participating in the Heart Run and Walk in an effort to celebrate their loved ones, honor their survivors, remember those that they've lost, as well as raise those critical funds for our mission so that we can help reduce the number of people that succumb to heart disease every year. One of the most exciting features I think about America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk is that it was the first Heart Run and Walk ever in the country, and it was the first to be as big as it was. We are the only ones in the country that are called America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk. That's something really special that I think the community should be very proud of, that we have made such an impact with America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk on funding important research, funding advocacy efforts, outreach and education into our communities on cardiovascular health, really working together and coming together as a community to help make sure that the Mohawk Valley is as healthy as it can be and continues to be ever healthier. One of the other interesting components and features of America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk is that it's a 2-day event, and that first day is on Friday, March 7th at Utica University, which has been an incredible host this year and last year and in years past. On Friday, we will have the Healthy for Good Expo. This is an extremely popular component of the weekend. We see people coming in from all walks of life, of all ages, to engage with the vendors, learn information about heart disease and stroke, perhaps have their blood pressure checked. Many people like to take part in the MVHS screenings. It's really a wonderful piece of the entire weekend. This year, we are pleased to honor 3 Red Cap ambassadors. Our Red Cap ambassadors are survivors who offer up their story to be able to help educate the community, raise awareness about their particular condition or experience in the hopes that they can help others avoid that same event. So we have Tom Payer, we have Ann Ferner, and we have Andrew Sikora as our 3 Red Cap ambassadors this year, and we are so proud of them and so thankful that they are sharing their story with the community at large.
My parents discovered that I had hypoplastic left heart syndrome while I was still in utero. When I was born, I had to be whisked into the NICU, and I spent arguably the first 2 years of my life in and out of the hospital having a series of 3 open heart surgeries to correct the defect, which essentially was that I was born without the left ventricle of my heart. I was able to have a relatively normal childhood, although there were certain things that I could not do. I could not play contact sports, even though I probably would have been great at football. I was able to go through Boy Scouts, however, there were noticeable deficits in my ability physically to keep up with the rest of my peers. On a day-to-day basis, I still operate with a bit of a deficit in what I'm able to do physically. It really began for me during the COVID-19 pandemic. The virus definitely affected me when I caught it, and unfortunately it resulted in me having to have a pacemaker put in at age 22. It felt like, oh man, I'm getting this so early in my life. I shouldn't need a pacemaker this early. Even the doctors originally said like a year before we had the pacemaker, I wouldn't need one for another 10 years. However, I was also able to feel proud of how far I'd come because other kids don't make it as long as I do without a pacemaker. They have to have one put in when they're still 2 years old. I see a cardiology team every 6 months. I have to see a specialized team, not just your average cardiologist. I have to go see a specialized team of doctors who deal with congenital heart diseases, with kids and with adults. Constant blood work, echocardiograms, ultrasounds, some MRIs on occasion to keep track of how my heart is doing today and to evaluate whether or not a transplant is going to be in the near future Research from the American Heart Association is critical because up until the 1980s, there was no treatment for hypoplastic left heart syndrome. The oldest person alive with my disease today is somewhere around their 40s and 50s right now. That's how recent it is. We don't know exactly how long I'm going to live with this condition because the research and the breakthroughs are still so recent, and it's why we need to do more research to find more breakthroughs so that that oldest person living with my condition lives up to 100. It is an absolute honor for me to be selected as a Red Cap ambassador to be able to share my story to help raise awareness about congenital heart disease, because this is something that can affect any family at any time, and there's not much that you can do to prevent congenital heart disease when it happens. When you're born with it, you're born with it. It's about what we do after to help improve longevity for those who have heart diseases and to help them live a much more fulfilled life.
I'd like to invite each and every one of you listening to join us at America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk on March 7th for the expo and March 8th for the walk. There is still time to register. In fact, if you wake up in the morning early on March 8th and decide you want to participate, we invite you to come down to Utica University, get registered, and join us and many, many thousands of community members as we fight together to end heart disease.